Today, I'm going to be talking about SEOs, talking about WebP specifically. And we're going to get into that. This is kind of the geek talk. This is where I get my geekiest. This is where I have my fun. This is web design, web development, SEO. This is all the stuff that I went to school for. And over the last 35 years have just been doing with my websites and improving. And there was a time that the whole concept was we took an image, we loaded it up onto the websites, and the goal was just to put a nice image up there. And then we had to worry about making it small and compacting it and making it look pretty, but also load fast. That was the key, loading fast. And almost everybody at that time, when I first started, had dial-up. So you had a couple things to, all that noise to dial things up. And to dial up meant that not only did you have to dial in, but it took time to upload the image and also download the image when you went to the website. So it was a double factor when I was actually designing the website, because I wanted a quick upload and I also wanted to load really quick on the download. And the download is when your web browser basically just grabs hold of it and you're able to see it. Now, here's the thing. Web companies such as AOL at the time and other companies, and now Infinity, Comcast, whatever you want to call them, your dish networks and all your streaming platforms have it set up that you could have this huge bandwidth to download, because we know you're taking the content and it's image files and everything else. But the upload time is 1/3 of the download. So meaning you get the images real fast, but when you're a developer, uploading them is a problem. Now, what started to happen, and we saw this in the programming world, was people started just writing code. They wrote code, and the code just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I started decades ago learning to program, everything was about optimizing, making it small, making it efficient, and just making good text and good copy. But the sad part is, when we start doing web development, we got into this idea that we got this huge file, this database storage, that we had these gigs to store information. We had these cameras that were uploading pictures, and you'd upload these pictures and they're, oh man, beautiful. But right away, they're 5, 6, 7 meg, if not bigger, and your browser just chugged. So we started using things like PNG, which took out the background. So you could have me like this, edit out the background, and place my image, which we do today, just like the little guy on my screen here is a PNG. I could put him on any image. And the really cool part is, any background I put him on, he has a different background. With the PNG, you could drop out backgrounds. With JPEGs, you get these beautiful images. They're compressed. But the problem comes about is they're large in size. And we have GIF, PNG, JPEGs. Those are the ones that have been out there. Now, recently, my website that I've had for years, my MBD2 website, which, let me pull it up over here. This is my website here, has had a lot of graphics on it. And these have all been images that I have used for JPEG. And then some of these were PNGs because I wanted the backgrounds. And again, these were GIFs. And I was trying to compact everything smaller. And I started reading about WebP. WebP is an imaging type that, if you don't know about, you should really think about using. It has saved my download time dramatically. And this is what has happened. When I started building websites, everything was for the desktop. That was it, the desktop. And really not that we built browser capabilities. Back in the 2000 era and earlier, we had Safari, Firefox, Netscape, AOL. This Google thing wasn't even around, this Chrome stuff that we use. It was Netscape. And those were the ones that we wound up using. And I remember using Netscape all the time. And then Firefox. Those were the ones that I test. IE, Internet Explorer, was junk, and it is still junk. AOL, there were still millions of users using the AOL browsers. Each browser had a different capability, and they would show your page different. So you'd always have to do all this different testing. And what we used to do was design pages that would load different for different browsers, meaning that whatever browser had the best feature, we could give that to the end user, which was great. But over time, Chrome came about, everything happened, and we got these browsers now that we use, which are basically Safari, Chrome, Firefox still has a big following, and there's maybe one or two more browsers that are out there. But a lot of people use Chrome or Google's browser, and that's kind of the default. Well, what happens is we've switched from being about browsers to everything was desktop, desktop, desktop. And then as the popularity of let me switch to my main screen here. Yep, come on, mouse. The phones came about. We started noticing a difference. We went from 1G, 2G, 3G, and 3G was just where we were able to get graphics, and it was the Nokia phones, and they weren't the greatest. And then we started getting into the Apple phones, and that's really where we kicked off. It's in the 4G world, where everybody was streaming data, and it was coming down and slamming our phones. And you could tell the bad websites just chugged along. And right from the 3 to 4G turnover, what happened was Google, which was the powerhouse now, started looking at sites and saying, you need to be mobile friendly. And that meant that things that we used to develop for desktops, meaning that we'd have clickable icons right next to each other, we took the mouse and click, did not work when you had to put your fat finger on the screen. We had to have things spread out. So there became a new standard, and that was the mobile standard. And I'm going to show you back behind the screens again here on my website here. This is the main page here. But it actually, in the old days, what I would look for, where is it? Flashing across here.
Actually, in the old days, what I would look for, where is it?
Let me turn that off. I don't know. Turn that one on. That was me talking here. Oh, did I close that window? Oh, here it is. Speed window. Flash through a whole bunch of windows there. That's what happens when you're live and things like this happen. And here, what we're doing is doing a speed test. This is actually PageSpeed Insights. This is a Google developmental tool. You can go out there, anybody could do it. You could plug in any Word page or any document in there, and you could analyze how fast the page goes. And it's going to load by two things here. First, it's going to load is by your mobile, which is what almost 90% of the people come to my website are. More and more people use tablets, phones to get around the internet. This is what they're using. They're not using desktops. And this will go out and actually rate your performance based on a series of activities. One of the biggest draws is calling other applications such as your JavaScript or your CSS, which are your fonts and your image and your page layout, and then your images. And what happens is when you have these large images, even though they seem quite small, I mean, a perfect example, this file here is a couple meg on my phone. It is just a huge file that when this picture was taken, it was taken from a high-end camera, and it's a couple meg. I think it was 2 meg in size when I got the file. I dropped it down to a smaller file, which was like 158, 158K. And I was like, woo, this is really compressed. It's still big. When I started optimizing it and converting it into a WebP format, it just smashed it. It just crushed it down to size that this now is a very small image. And that changes in my analytics. Where is this page? I will find it again right here. This page right here, it changes my analytics. If you notice, my desktop loads actually faster at 98% because a computer draws different skills. It has different powers than your phone. It is just a bigger, more powerful computer to draw than your phone. So the analytics for your desktop are always going to come out better than the analytics for your mobile. But you got to remember, we have to build towards mobile, which means that you have to go into a better image crunching capability. And that I found out to be is the WebP. The WebP crushed these images, made them smaller, made them efficient, and made them useful. Now you may be going, Dale, that's great. WebP, how do I use it? I got a WordPress site. I have an HTML site. I have both sites, HTML, which is a standard coded, and then I have a WordPress site. Now, there's benefit if you have a WordPress site, and there's advantages if you have the HTML. Let me talk about the HTML. This is your standard, old hacked, type in the code, move things around, generate it. It's not like WordPress where it's got a database and it's pulling things out. WebP, W-E-B-P format is not a format that all web browsers will use. There's like 3 of them that are still behind the date and not using this format. Almost all the big ones do. Apple, Safari doesn't use it, and Internet Explorer, which we don't care about. But there's a workaround, which stay to the end of the video. I will tell you how to work around these. It will do. So what happens is you take your image, you smash it down, it gets really small inside, and you upload it like you normally do. And first of all, you may be wondering, well, Dale, how do I smash my image? Well, you've probably seen me go across the screen a couple times. Where is it? Did I close it? Here it is. EasyGIF.com is a website I found that will allow you to optimize your page. And in here, it says WebP. Click on WebP. And what happens is it wants you to upload your image, select, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually do one here. I'm going to choose a file off my hard drive. And let's choose a file here. This is going to be fun, folks. We're going to do this live just for you. I'm going to go photos. Let's see, all pictures. We're just going to jump out here. Grab a picture. Let's see, here's one of my pictures. What is this picture? I'm looking for its size right now. We're going to open it. All right, this allows you to pull up to a 5 meg file. All right, so I got it uploaded. That's probably going to take forever to convert. What we're going to actually do is actually convert this in real time. Here it is. Let's see, animated WebP. We're going to make it as a WebP. It's going to convert it. It's going to allow me to save it. And we're going to truncate the size right here. So file size is 182K. We're going to tell that to convert to a, let's see, where is, oh no, why isn't it allowing me to convert to a WebP? Did I not select the WebP? Oh, let's see, make WebP maker, I'm sorry. Yeah, make WebP. See, I should have tested this before. Convert to it. Type WebP. Convert to a GIF. This is not a WebP. This is. Let me select another image here. Let me go back. Select. Make sure I'm selecting an image that is. Now that is a JPEG file. All right, that's what I need to do. I remember now. I want to take a JPEG file right up here at the top to a WebP. I want to tell it exactly the file conversion I want to do. Because you could a GIF to WP, so I want a JPEG to that. So I'm going to go out and select that same image here. And I'm not going to compress it. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to just go out and let's get that image again off my hard drive here. I think it was this one I selected. Either one is quite large. All right. I tell it to upload. It's going to upload it into the cloud. So now we can do and convert it. I could do an optimization here. I could do a resize. I could do some fun little tools here. But today I just want to show you that. Look at the size. 1.2. I want to tell that to convert to a WebP. We're going to convert. Here you go. 33% reduction. This is one of the best tight reductions. Now, I could actually take this and actually resize the image and break it down and make it smaller. Realistically, I won't load a 1.23 meg file up there. That's insane to load something up there. That's what people do to Facebook. They load it up to Facebook. Facebook will actually convert it and optimize it and shrink it down. But when you're doing web work, you can't do that. So I found the tool here that allow me to save it. Then I could save this file and I could use this file. Now, I know some of you are going, Dale, I got WordPress. I can't do this for every file. I'm showing you two ways here. This is the option for the WordPress format. If you got a comment, if you're online with me, do me a favor, drop me a message in the chat. I will definitely jump on and chat with you on this. But looking at this right here, you could see we do the conversion. Now, after I save this file, I still have to upload the file to a directory, and I'm going to show you the... Oh, where is it? I got a second window up here. Hang on. Let's see. I don't want that window. What happened to that window I had? There we go. All right. This window is the actual code. Now, if you're doing HTML hard coding, you actually have to change your image tags. Your image tags get changed to what are called picture tags. Now, remember I told you that all browsers will support WebP. Well, here's what you do. You're actually going to do what we did back in the early 2000s is when the web browser loads, it sends a code to the server saying what type web browser it is. And in the old days, we would check to see if it was IE or if it was Safari or if it was Firefox or Netscape. And based on its information it sent to us, we would then give it the proper page. We're going to be doing the same thing here. Is we're going to actually be telling the image, and in this example right here, it's a picture. It's telling the source, which is right here. It's saying that I'm using a WebP format. This is the WebP. So it's giving me the WebP. I'm using the screencast image, and this is the image that's going to be displayed. So in this picture tag, I'm saying that the source type is going to be a WebP image. So that tells the web browser, use WebP, and this is the image I want you to use. If you don't have WebP, I want you to display this image, which is a JPEG image. Here is the alt tags, here's the picture. But this is step one. So the computer reads this as step one, goes, hey, show a WebP. If you're Chrome or if you're Firefox, you go, boom, here it is, this small compressed file. Bam, loads real quick. Google's happy. They go, yay! Chrome's happy. Yay! Everybody's happy. Your page loads quick. Nobody drops off. If you happen to have a slower or older browser that doesn't support WebP, guess what? This image is displayed. Hopefully you have it optimized. It's going to take a little longer to load. But in the Google Analytics, what's going to happen is Google Analytics is going to say, hey, for the people out there who have the smart browsers like Chrome is, we're going to reward you and move you up the SEO ladder because your pages are in optimized format. Versus somebody who just has the normal JPEG image. It's taking that extra step because Chrome, which is Google, wants you to take that extra step and say, hey, show the faster compressed images. And we will reward you by giving you a better SEO ranking versus the guy who's too lazy to put the code in. So there is a difference between having the code and not having the code in SEO rankings. Now, you could use tags with this too. Here's an example of a tag file that I'm putting a link to a specific location. In this example right here, I'm using a tag that's going to open up to its own window. This is the URL that I'm going to. which actually has a link to that page. So I'm not linking off the page. I'm opening up. This is basically a tag that you click that takes you to the end of the page to fill out a form. That's what this is saying. Here's the tag information. Then I have the picture source again, which says, hey, this is a graphic for an HTML. Excuse me. This is for a WebP image to show. And if you don't have it, drop down and do the following. So you can find these tags right online. So that's what you have to do if you're doing HTML. You have to code it in there. Now, I know you're saying, Dale, I don't have that. I have a WordPress site. Well, guess what? There is what's called WebP Convert. WebP Convert allows you to go out and convert JPEG, PNG, GIF files on the fly. You can go out to the site and tell you want your plugins, any graphics in your plugins, any plugins, your themes, boom. You could say how much of compression that you want, 80%. I did this just to let you see that mine went through saving weight. Here's what I saved, 71% compression on my image, which is going to dramatically affect my load time. And it goes down, it shows all the images. And the nice part is the image has not been deleted. What it does, it creates a secondary location. This is a plugin that you could find it's called WebP Convert for Media. So for all those people who have WordPress sites out there, you don't have to freak out and go, Dale, I'm not going to have to go in and do all this crazy code just to get my better ratings. No, what you could actually do is, here it is, WebP Convert for Media. You go out here. It says today nearly 80% of the browsers support WebP, 80%. And again, this is where you have to define what your company is about when it comes to SEO. I deal with companies all the time trying to figure out their SEOs and entertainers. And you have to look at the algorithms in the SEO and your stats. How are people viewing your website? If you're up to the 80-90% of the people are viewing your website through a phone, okay, through a phone, you better be going out to page and checking what your stats are and figuring out how can you improve versus your desktop. And your desktop probably is always going to rate higher. So now it's the criticism of I got to be mobile friendly. Well, right here, WebP allows you to create your website and convert your files. And some of these, this is just one. This is just for images. There are other ones that will compress your JavaScript and your CS code. Now, from programmers, as a programmer, we used to put notes in there. And we would say, this is the section for headers. And then we'd go down and put all our code in, and then we'd put another description and go, this is for page such and such. And you put all this extra verbiage in, and it's adding lines. Now, what happens is what the computer needs to do is go out there, grab that code, pull it into your website, and it's not using all those codes. So when you optimize your CSS, it actually takes out those codes. It removes the paragraphs. It removes the line indents. It removes all that craziness that we put in for coders to make it easier for the next guy to read. And really, that is coding 101, is we're supposed to make it nice and pretty for the next developer or the next programmer, which may be us in 6 months, or the new guy that comes along, is to be able to find the section, read the code, put in documentation. Now, as great as that was back in the day, the problem is when we do our phone stuff, the phone problem comes in, it's got to take all that extra code in. That extra verbiage that we put in as programmers to document what we did, how we did it, why we did, what variables we used, what variables are non-variables. That all is data that is stored in that file. So that file that originally was 5K is now 10K, 15K. And it is 3 times, 4 times its size because we have that extra comments in. We strip out the comments, guess what? The phone processes load faster. So we can actually find programs that help us load the JavaScript up, the information, and I will actually show you another one. I don't have that here loaded. I blew it. My bad here. I don't have the information being loaded, but you can go into the back end of your WordPress and there are optimization software that not only do the WP for you, but will also optimize your JPEGs, or not JPEGs, your JavaScript and your CSS, and it takes out that extra verbiage. It strips it and runs it clean. Now, WebP, let me explain what happens now with your browser. When you go to your browser and you have this image here, this image, if I were to right click on it and save the image as, you're going to notice that, let me go back to the screen for a second here. When I right click on this image and I go to save image as, another window pops up and it would ask you how to save this image. This image would come up and say it's a WebP. Let me see if I could show you that. Save image. I'm going to have to tweak my, I'm not going to be able to do it because I don't have my screen set up to capture a pop-up window. But when I save this, this is a WebP. What happens when you do this WebP, it still converts the image. In the browser, it shows it, but it says, let's see, when it's on the plugin, I could swear that I read in here that if you right click on it, you will still be able to download it as a JPEG. Now, where did I come out and actually see this information? I saw that information there, but how did I start noticing WebP? WebP I started noticing in Amazon. As a designer or, entrepreneur, I would sell products through the affiliate program and I needed to take a Amazon picture and affiliate it with an Amazon product. I noticed that some of the images that I were clicking on were being saved and I couldn't see the image. It was driving me crazy until I realized it was in a WebP format. The WebP format, your browsers, depending on your browsers, will not see them. I'm used to saving an image, and when I save that image on my hard drive, I'm using a PC, I see the WebP or the JPEG image right there because it's a JPEG. When it's a WebP, I just see it's a graphic image. I don't actually see the image itself. That's one of the things that, again, when we are using Windows, we are using Internet Explorer basically to view our images on the hard drive. We're not using a web browser. If I use a web browser such as Chrome and I go to my hard drive and look at it, guess what? I'm going to see all the WebP images. But when I save an image off of Amazon to my hard drive, being a PC, and it's a WebP, and I go to look at it, and I'm like, man, why can't I see the image? Try opening it up in Photoshop. Have an older version of Photoshop. Doesn't like to open it up. So again, working with WebP images is totally different than a JPEG. But I encourage you to really look at it because the load time is dramatic. I mean, it's unreal how fast images now load. I'm going to go to my kids page again. Again, I'm streaming here, folks. Images load up. Now, what happens with this, sorry. Let me go to my left. What happens is when you start having video load, even though it's a Google product, they don't like that. There is still going to be some drag because it has to go out there and get the embedded code, bring the embedded code down. And there's a couple tricks to optimize that. But any images that you have, let's go out to airplane. All right, boom, the images load real quickly. These are small images. But again, I learned real quickly, let me go back to my homepage here, that this image right here, this click button, even though it was a PNG, I had it down to what I thought was small. It was like 25K, which when I optimize it, when I downsize it, it turned out to be a 2K file. Bam! I saw speed increase. These were PNGs. Again, when I turned WebP, it went from a 20 down to a 2K. And WP, man, it just blew my mind how compressed it can make an image. I did have to go in. But if you are using WordPress, I'm using it here on my WordPress blog. I went in there, I optimized the image, still increased the speed. The images load quicker. I have a cache on here to help with the images. And you'll see server improve time. Why am I doing all this work? Well, let's go back to the analytics again here, folks. And the analytics are basically telling me that more people are seeing me in mobile mode than desktop mode. Okay, and I know that from looking at my analytics, not from PageSpeed, but actually going into my stats page and seeing where people come from. You could go in and check that. So my site, people are using their phone. So I have to make sure that it's faster. When my site loads faster, that means Google is going to rank it better off in their SEO. So I hope you like this presentation today. I hope that I get more followers. Again, this is a growing channel. I don't have a lot of people chatting on this. This is a small chat group here, but I do load this up to my YouTube channel. So if you haven't been part of my live stream here, which on Twitch, I know it's going to take a long time, but if you do, come out, join in. We could chat. We could talk more about this. We can make it interesting. And I hope you like what you have. Do me a favor, click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're a Twitch follower, definitely click the follow button, because then you know that I go live every Monday at 3:30 and I talk about TikTok, YouTube, web design. I'm all about marketing, all about improving, not only from an entertainer's point of view, but from a business point of view. So with that, you guys have a great day. I'm out of here. Twitch family, have fun, be good, be safe, be healthy. Bye-bye. Make sure you click on that subscribe button and never miss a video. Subscribe now. Click the little bell and always be notified of a live broadcast. Follow me on Instagram. And if you're a TikTok fan, you'll find me under the same name, Dale Obrochta. Looking forward to seeing you on social media.